Okay, everyone, we'll go ahead and get started. We have Coach here, and our first question will go to Greg Hunter.
So, Coach, let's just start general. The last week, what have you guys been doing in practice? Any injuries to report? Well, what's been happening?
Throwing it around a lot, Greg. Haven't been real. Hasn't been a great week for our passing abilities. We're trying to get ready for obviously Texas A&M and what they do, and trying to just keep getting better, our execution offensively and obviously defensively.
Justin Jackson.
Hey, Coach, kind of going off the Texas A&M thing here. I guess it was reported a little earlier today that Ohio State has dropped out of that tournament. Not, sure how that might affect you guys or not, but is there any chance at all that the tournament, gets canceled, or, you guys have to look elsewhere to start the season?
No, I just talked to the lady who runs the tournament after I found out that Ohio State had dropped out, and she's already picked up another team.
Okay.
And that will play Memphis in the second game of the day. So I think, Justin, honestly, with the MTEs being canceled in Florida, there's a lot of people looking to get in a good MTE. And this one is you're going to play good quality people every game. So it's going to help.
Are you allowed to say who that replacement team is, or is it too early? Or
I don't know. I don't know
Okay.
I don't know if I am or not.
Okay. All right.
Probably. You want me to tell you?
Sure.
All right. The rest of you guys cover yours. It's St. Mary's.
Okay. Good.
Michael from WMOV.
You guys were among the best teams in the nation defensively last year. How have things looked on that side so far, and can we expect anything new this year, kind of from the standpoint of pressing or different zone defenses or anything like that?
Well, we're just trying to get solid right now. I'm sure that we'll do some other things, but not at this point in time. We're just trying to get the fundamentals and get the new guys and the guys that didn't get as much playing time, trying to make sure that they understand what we're trying to do. And I think when we're really good, we do a great job of working in unison, and that's what we're trying to work on, making sure everybody understands where the other guy's supposed to be and consequently where they're supposed to be.
Ethan Bach.
Hey, Coach. So a couple weeks ago, you said the Big 12 wasn't going to tell you about the conference schedule for a while. And then last week they came out with the conference schedule. Did that surprise you how quick it was in any way? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, they did tell us that it wasn't going to be out for a while. So I don't know. I'm old, man. There's not a whole lot surprises me anymore.
John Antonik.
I had my ears covered. I didn't get that, Hugs. What do you do to keep this thing from getting stale? Because you're not going to play a game now for another 3 weeks. You don't have any exhibition games. You guys are going against yourself. How do you keep it where the guys are sharp and fresh and the practices are the way you want them?
John, you know the answer to that. It's my effervescent personality. They've been good, man. Here's the thing. They have a day off. They're still in here. They love playing, and so obviously voting day. Everybody's off. Nobody can, and they're still coming in and getting shots after they voted. So they're going to be in here regardless. So they enjoy being in here.
When do you start digging into Texas A&M?
Oh, we already have.
Yeah, I know. I saw one of their bigs was on the Karl Malone list, so I just glanced at their roster. They got a lot of size.
We got a lot of size, and Buzz does a really good job. They had some young guys a year ago that, it's kind of, you don't know if you're supposed to shoot or not supposed to shoot, or should I pass it here? And when you got all those things going through your head, you don't generally play up to your ability. And I think they're much, much better. They'll have a much, much better year this year.
Last thing here, what can you expect from those early games? I mean, obviously you got a veteran team, and you hear coaches talk, and they say people that are dealing with pandemics, having a veteran team is probably helpful. What are your expectations early on?
Who said that?
A guy named Mike Carey. You ever heard of him?
Coach is women, man. That's different. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know if having a veteran team helps you or not. It's because we've never gone through this. We've never gone through what we're going through. Generally you don't want a lot of interruptions, and we've had nothing but interruptions, from the testing, and not that it's not, we need to do it. I think we all understand that. We really need to do it. That's not a knock. It's reality. You can't get into any kind of flow because you're constantly, something comes up that takes you out of the flow, so to speak. But again, I mean, I think the great thing for us is we have guys who love being in the gym. So they're going to be in the gym whether we're in there or not.
Greg Hunter.
Bob, what do you see from Kedrian Johnson? Besides being good offensively in junior college, he was also very good defensively in terms of stats. Has he caught on to what you want him to do defensively?
Yeah, I mean, it's a process, but he's getting better and better. He's talented. He's a very talented guy. He's far and away the fastest guy on our team. He can really get to the ball. It's just a matter of, him right now, he's thinking too much and not really reacting. But he's a talented guy. He's going to be a really good player.
We'll go to Nick from WVVA.
Like the Karl Malone Award list, Oscar's on that list now too, and even aside from the preseason accolades, what have you kind of seen from Oscar that makes you believe that he's poised to play an even bigger role for you guys this season? Thank you.
Nick, you were hard to hear, Coach. I think he was asking about Oscar being named to the Malone Award watch list, and what are you seeing from him this year?
Well, I mean, I think all of those things are pretty much based on a year ago. The people who had good years a year ago obviously are going to be named on those lists, and I think it's a testament to what Oscar did and how impressive he was to people a year ago. And the challenge now is to continue to get better and continue to climb that list.
Justin Jackson.
Hey, Coach. Obviously, you're saying Kedrian's the fastest guy. Oscar's probably not going to like that too much.
I think Oscar, unless Oscar wants to lie to you, just bold-faced lie to your face, Justin, he is faster than Oscar.
On Oscar a little bit, and Derek, you went through last season working on playing them together, and they both talked a lot last year about how they had to work out spacing and get used to playing with each other, and it was kind of a process for them. I'm just kind of wondering what you see from that process this year. Is it going to look a lot different? Will they look more comfortable, I guess, playing together, I guess is the question?
I think they've been a lot more comfortable because they play together in practice.
Right.
Those guys are generally on the same team, and they play against our other bigs, So, which is good for our other bigs, but I think it's good for them. They're not, they're not pounding on each other every day. So, and they're offensively, they're working together. So I think it's a win-win. Just having those other bigs, generally you have two guys like that, and your next guy is 6'3" and skinny, so having the additional bigs that we have, I think gives us depth there, and they bring some things to the table as well. So it's been good for us.
So, I mean, obviously going up against another opponent, their spacing then doesn't sound like it'll be as much of a concern then as far as them finding the right space, I guess.
I don't think that's the problem. I mean, them running into each other, trying to both get the same rebound at times is, but no, I mean, their understanding of that has become pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, Cody Nesper.
Hey, Coach. Just are you expecting to use as deep a rotation this year as you did last year? Or, I mean, is that something you can even, make a determination on in the preseason, or do you have to kind of wait and see?
Well, I'm hoping that that's a big advantage for us in this MTE when you're playing 3 hard games in 3 days. Hopefully we'll be able to play a lot more people than what our opponent plays, and hopefully we'll be a little fresher and have a lot livelier legs.
We'll go back to John.
Hey, have you ever sat out a top 100 recruit like you did with JB? I know that was the plan, was to do that. And the other question is, had you not, would he have helped you last year, you think?
I think he would have really helped us last year. He was one of our better offensive rebounders, I think, at the end of the year, and he can make shots. I mean, JB gets on a roll. He really makes shots, and he can shoot it from deep, which stretches the defense. He's got length and good feet, so he's going to be a good defender. Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. The way it turned out, we had it to do all over again. Knowing what we know now, we wouldn't have, because it's going to get this year back anyways, as Justin so eloquently penned in the.
I was going to say he could play 6 years.
Well, yeah, I mean Justin had that in the paper. If you'd buy a paper, John, you'd know these things.
That subs too much for me, man.
Okay, Greg Hunter.
Hey, Isaiah Cottrell, you've talked about his skill. Things you really need him to work on so he can get to where you want him to be?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is physicality, which is it's a huge difference from playing in high school and to playing at this level. But and then it's even a bigger challenge when you're playing against two guys like Derek and Oscar. And so, but he's learning. He's learning. He's getting more physical. He's become much better as a rebounder. And the great thing about Isaiah is he can step out and make shots. You can't clog things up with him on the floor because he can step out and make shots.
Michael Casaza.
Hey, Bob, going on your rotation, I believe you had mentioned earlier, maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago, that you were going to be kind of hesitant to use newcomers. So maybe that's Bridges, maybe that's Johnson, maybe that's Isaiah, maybe that's just some combination of guys, Taj too. But do you have plans for when to use them, how to use them? Do you just not want to use them early because they don't have that exhibition, or is that evolving right now?
No, I think we all want to win, Mike. So we're going to do what we need to do to win. And I think obviously at this point in time, not having a scrimmage like we always were able to have, and not having an exhibition with the money going to charity like we have had in the past, it's those guys aren't getting any experience. Those guys haven't taken a jump shot in a Coliseum yet. So it's going to depend on the opposition and what it takes for us to win the game. But again, they all bring something that we need. And like I said, in Isaiah's case, Isaiah can step out and make shots that Derek and Oscar aren't going to be able to step out and make.
Do we have any further questions? If you do, please use the raise hand feature. Okay, go ahead, Michael. Mike.
My bad. Yep, my bad. I wasn't sure which one. That's my fault. A bunch of coaches, different sports, talked about using kind of the spare time in the pandemic, the quarantine period, to revisit stuff and maybe devote attention to stuff that you would not normally have the time and the resources to. And it could be a small area, a big area. Any type of that workshopping for you that was out of the ordinary that you probably wouldn't have looked at in a regular off season, but given your time this year, you did?
No, because I haven't had a lot of time. Like I've done a bunch of virtual clinics, for different people and different organizations. I'm on the NABC board of directors, so I'm on a call of that at least once a week. I'm on the rules committee, so I'm on a call about that. I mean, I'm on more committees. I don't know how I got on all these committees, to be honest with you, but I'm on all these committees, and so it really does keep you busy. And then the guys have the great thing about this facility is the guys like being in here, so, and they eat in here, and they obviously they work out and they lift, and so they're around all the time, so I get to spend time with them. So no, I haven't had time to sit down, and I really haven't wanted to be honest with you. I'm just kind of I'm happy with what we're doing, where we are, and as you know, I've got a great staff. I've got a terrific staff. I mean, you don't get a better guy than Larry Harrison. Obviously, Eric playing for me, he's got a pretty good idea of what we need done as well, and then the rest of the crew. So I've become an administrator, Mike. How about that? I never thought that'd ever happen.
Okay, Greg Hunter.
So Bob, to follow along with Mike's question a little bit, what about recruiting in this new world? A lot of restrictions on you, very different. Can you be at all successful in recruiting, doing what you have to do almost all virtual?
I think you have to be, don't you? I mean, there's guys committing all over the place, even though they're, some of them are saying that they want to actually come to campus, but they still commit, So yeah, we've been on a lot of these virtual visits, and actually they're kind of neat. I mean, you kind of get to you do get to see campus and everything that we have here for students and student athletes. So I just like to be able to sit down and talk to people face to face. This virtual thing is, I think, for the time being, good. I hope it doesn't become a fixture in what we do.
Okay, if there's no further questions, Justin, you will have the last one.
All right. Coach, I appreciate the plug earlier.
Hey, Justin, I open that paper up and I go right to local. so I can turn the page on local and get to the sports and see what you're writing about on that day.
I'm kind of curious here, man, on, you look at the stats last year and, it'll tell you that you guys were last in 3-point shooting last year in the league. I also see, you also have a team that forces a lot of turnovers, is the best in offensive rebounding. So you create a lot of points in other areas. But I'm just kind of curious on what you think you need from 3-point shooting this year. Is that a stat that will tell a lot, or maybe not something that you're concerned about as much because of the makeup of your team? I'm just kind of curious on where you think that mix might be this year.
Well, I just saw something. I think, Mess, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we shot 22% from three a year ago. And that's not good enough, obviously.
Right.
But you know what, Justin, I wouldn't be afraid to put John McNeil in a 3-point shooting contest with anybody in our league or anybody else's league. He can really shoot the ball.
Right.
Taz struggled a year ago, but he struggled because the injury, and then he got sick, and he just didn't have a good year. But it really wasn't his fault. By the time he kind of got going at the end of the year, they shut us down. But he can shoot the ball. JB can shoot the ball. I mean, we've got guys who can make shots. I would be totally stunned if we didn't have a good year shooting the ball from beyond the arc. I think we have guys who can make shots. But the reality of it is, Justin, I want us to be built for the days when we don't make shots.
Yeah.
As well. We had practice yesterday and we couldn't make one. We just really struggled to make perimeter shots. And it's kind of refreshing when you continue to see the ball bouncing off the rim to know that Derek and Oscar and Isaiah and Gabe and those guys are waiting right there to be able to get their hands on it and do something with it as well. So, I want us to be well-rounded. I mean, obviously we've got to shoot the ball from the perimeter a lot better. But I mean, go back to the Oklahoma game. I mean, we missed 22 shots inside of 4 feet.
Right.
That's hard to do, but we did it. And we obviously you can't do that either.
Yeah.
And in spite of shooting 22% from 3, I think we win the Oklahoma game if we just make half of those 22 inside of 4 feet.
Okay, Coach. I think we'll turn you loose. No further questions for you. Appreciate your time today. We'll talk to you next week. If media could stay on here, we'll have some players as they come in from their academic commitments. So please be patient. Thank you. Thanks, Coach.
Yes, Miss. So thank you.
Hi, Gabe. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, guys. Gabe Osaboyan will be first up. Questions for Gabe. Greg Hunter.
So Gabe, you sort of hit the ground running here last year. How different are you now with a year in Huggins' system? And you'd played college basketball before, so was it a lot different with what you had to go through last year?
It wasn't really a lot different, but it was a whole more it was a different system, I would say, more offensively in his sets and stuff like that. So I feel like this year I'm definitely more comfortable playing with Derek and Oscar and more comfortable playing. I have more of a knowledge of what my teammates are more capable of and their tendencies and stuff like that. So definitely just a more unity, I'd say, and just a better understanding of the players I'm playing with now.
Cody Nesper.
Hey, Gabe. Last season you talked about being more aggressive when you have the ball so that, the opposing defense can't just kind of sag off you. Is that something you've worked on over the summer, and how do you feel offensively heading into this year?
I feel very much comfortable offensively. Obviously, that's something I worked on during the summer, being able to make sure that while all five people are on the court, that we're all threats at the same time. So me being a threat, working on my mid-range jump shot definitely is going to open up stuff better for everybody else that's on the court with me. It's going to be a big factor in me getting more playing time and stuff like that. So definitely working on my game, making sure I'm also an offensive threat is definitely going to make it better for the whole team as a whole.
Go ahead, Greg.
So Gabe, I was wondering how you spent the quarantine in the summer. Did you go home to Canada? Did you have any worries about getting back into the United States? Were those ever issues, or did it work out fairly smoothly?
Actually, this whole quarantine, I did not go back to Canada. I didn't want to go through anything or want to jeopardize anything. So I just stayed up here in Morgantown the whole time, worked out, and just been in the gym and been up here in Morgantown, really.
Justin Jackson.
Hey, Gabe. I'm kind of curious in your opinion here because obviously you're one of the big guys on the team. And, so much of today's basketball game is, they say it's a guards game now and, and AAU kind of up and down style of, people say, well, that's what's going to win games now. And then here comes West Virginia with, a couple 6'10" guys, a couple 6'9" guys, another 6'10", obviously a very big physical team. Kind of talk to me about how you guys are finding that mix in the sense that, there is a space, there is a place for big guys in today's game as well.
Yeah, definitely. There's a space for big guys in today's game. I mean, with our team this year, I mean, the amount of weapons we have on the perimeter. I mean, all the guards are coming back like extremely better players through practice. You can see they're all developed and came back 100 times better. And the same with the bigs. I mean, that just shows how good we can be because we have amazing bigs down low with Derek and Oscar and then Isaiah being so versatile also. So it's like we have all the weapons and definitely we're going to use the bigs also. Like, you feel me? We have so much talent in size. I mean, Isaiah could space the floor and stuff like that. And we also have Oscar and DC who you guys already know they're monsters down low. And there's definitely going to be an advantage to take over against other teams also who don't have as much size and depth as us. So obviously it is like going towards a guards game, but the amount of weapons we have on our team is so much weapons that everybody's going to get a chance to show what they can do.
Back to you, Greg.
So Gabe, what was your reaction when you heard the NCAA was going to allow winter student athletes to get an extra year? So you were a senior this year, but you can be a senior again next year if you wish. What were your thoughts, and have you thought about what your future is going to be?
I haven't really thought about that. I did hear about it, but I mean, the type of person I am, I'm obviously a team-oriented player. You feel me? Anything to do with the team. So if that's the goal at the end of the year. I mean, our main goal this year is to win a national championship, and I know that if we don't do that this year, I mean, that would be on my mind because I feel like we have everything we need to do it this year. So definitely whatever the team needs at the end of the year and whatever how things go will depend on the outcome for the decisions being made at the end of the year.
John Antonic.
Gabe, just curious to get your thoughts on JB. That's a pretty good player that sat out last year. And you don't normally see good players like that sit out like that to develop themselves. What's your thoughts on him as a player this year?
Seeing him from develop as a freshman through his redshirt season, I mean, he learned so much and gained so much knowledge and playing against people like me every day, people like Oscar and guards. So he definitely got the experience he needed to. And I feel like his talent at his size and what he's able to do, he brings so much to the table defensively and offensively, spacing the floor, being able to shoot, take people off the dribble. I mean, that's the whole complete player, offensively and defensively. We've added again to the already deep roster we have. So, I mean, he's going to fit in perfectly well with what we do in every aspect. And he's definitely I expect a lot out of him this year, actually.
Curious, what did you think of his shooting? He's got a low, kind of like a hip shot there. What did you think of the way he shoots the ball?
The way he shoots the ball, whatever he's doing, he needs to keep doing it because he has one of the best shots on our team. So, I mean, his shooting mechanics, they're good, they're solid, and he's good. He's a real good shooter, and he's proven that day in and day out.
Gabe, Canadian basketball, tons of guys now coming into the U.S., whether it's college, NBA, they're all over the place. What is it? I mean, is there a good youth system there? How come all of a sudden that's become so much of a feeding ground for basketball players?
Just because of the people that have set the tone early for us growing up. I mean, like me growing up, when I used to watch basketball and stuff, I used to watch Andrew Huggins play in person in Canada and things like that. But seeing them being able to leave Canada and go to a different country and make a name for themselves has definitely breeded a whole bunch of inspiration for the youth like us and people under us to want to do the same thing. And then the love for basketball has grown throughout the city, especially with Toronto Raptors and just stuff like that being in there. So, I mean, the love for basketball has grown big in Canada, and you'll see a lot of upcoming Canadian talent coming up soon.
Any final questions for Gabe? Okay, Gabe, appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
No problem.
Sean McNeil will be next.
Okay, Joe, Sean is here.
Hi, Sean, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
We'll open up to questions for Sean. Go ahead, Greg.
So, Sean, I'll start it out. Okay, take us back to last year. You sort of had some health issues early. How much did that contribute to your, some of the early season struggles you had? And then when you just got feeling good, it seemed like the season got shut down. Is that fair? How'd that work for you?
Yeah, I think it contributed a little bit, along with a lot of other things. I mean, last year being my first year here, just trying to adjust as a whole. But no, I mean, the illness in the summer in Spain kind of lingered on a little longer than I would have liked it to. But kind of like you said, later in the year, I kind of got things going, got more comfortable. And then just unfortunately got shut down a little earlier than we all would have liked. But no, I mean, feeling super good now. This summer was really big. I mean, granted, we weren't here, as quick as we would have liked. But, I was still doing things on my own. And then when we got back, just kind of back to playing how I was back at Sinclair and then doing some things now. So it's been good.
John?
Curious, Sean, you can't vote for yourself here. Who do you think is the best shooter on the team?
Best shoot. I've been shooting a lot with Jordan. Honestly, we all really been shooting it well in practice, but Jordan has put in a tremendous amount of time on his shot. He's a guy I usually work out with too. Taz has been shooting it really well. It's hard to pick just one. I mean, if I got to pick one or two, it's probably one of those. Jalen's been shooting it really, really good too. So kind of pick your poison there.
Go ahead, Cody.
Hey, Sean. As a former junior college guy, is there anything that you can, say or explain to Kedrian to kind of help him not have a struggle at the beginning or have to get up to speed? Or are those just things you have to kind of go through yourself and work through?
Yeah. If there's anything, first year guys just in general, whether you're a transfer, whether you're a freshman, a first year guy at the college level at all. Mistakes are going to happen, especially here. This is just a unique program. They do things a little bit different here, whether it's more so defensively, but offensively as well. It takes a little bit to, get adjusted and relax. But Kedrian's doing well. He stresses himself out just a little bit. Like we all do. But he's going to be fine. The game's going to come. The offense is takes a little bit to get used to. But he's playing really well. Just as long as he doesn't let one play get to him or just continues to play present, he's going to be fine. He's going to help us a lot.
Go ahead, Justin.
Hey, Sean, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, Coach Huggins has talked a lot about the need for you guys to be able to spread the floor, to keep, some of those defenders out of the paint, to give Oscar and Derek some room to work. And a lot of that is going to be making outside shots. So I'm just kind of wondering, maybe not that maybe you're under pressure to make those shots, but just how much of that, becomes a factor into what you guys are trying to do and something that you think about, as you're in practice or whatever.
Yeah, I think I did that to a fault last year. I thought about it way too much. That's what they were recruiting me, telling me to come in and do. They want to be able to space the floor for Derek and Oscar, and I was just so panicked about, because me being a shooter and being able to shoot the ball, I was thinking about it almost too much last year. Got to make shots, and for shooters, that's just something that you can't do is think about it, because once you start thinking, the chances are more so than not that you're going to end up missing. So this year, I'm just kind of, doing what I've always done. Trusting the amount of work I put in. I come in here every day and shoot, a ridiculous amount of shots. As does everybody else. So just trusting the work that I put in and not really thinking about it, because, me, Jordan, Taz, Jalen, we shoot the ball really well. There's no reason to really think about it. Just doing what we do, and then that's going to allow Derek and Oscar to do what they do as well. So
We'll go to Mike Kazaza.
I'm embarrassed. Justin took my question, so I'm going to have to think on the fly here. I guess one thing that Huggins and some other guys have talked about is kind of roll and replace, which, maybe if you're not on the ball, you don't think that you're too involved in that as a point guard or a big, but if you're on the wings, that's really important too, especially with maybe the way the game is being played and all that. But how much of a thing is that you can get involved in or get better in, just so that actual initial action can be effective?
Yeah, it's been huge that we added Juwan to our staff too. He's been a huge skill development guy. Me, Jordan, Deuce, we've been working out with him, very often as well. But no, rolling place is going to be big for us. Allowing Jordan and Deuce to do what they do off ball screens, and then, me, Jalen, Taz on the wing, rolling up and when they come off ball screens, filling up to the wing and knocking down shots like you guys said. It's going to be really important. I think that with the guys that we have and the skill set, roll and replace is going to be really good for us this year.
Greg?
So, Sean, defense, how much was what you were asked to do last year sort of different for where you'd been in the past? And where are you now, do you think, in terms of your defensive ability?
Just being here, it's different in general. defensively, what they asked to do here is different. I think 1 through 14 or 15, whatever we got on, it's just not really asked, at a whole lot of other places. But with a year under my belt, I feel a lot more confident in it. And it kind of goes, hand in hand. Offensively, I was thinking so much last year. And with the defensive principles that we have here, I was thinking so much defensively too. But I think throughout the year last year, I progressed defensively as well. And now I'm just kind of playing, not only offensively, but defensively as well. I think my footwork's better, and it's all comes down to whether, or really just trusting myself now. I've got a year under my belt. There's no reason to think anymore. Just go out there and do it. So.
Okay, John.
John, curious, where do you think this team's better this year than it was last year? What areas?
Oh, shooting is one that I've seen, not only myself, but everybody. Me and Taz, specifically being new guys, that was our role to come in and, that they needed, was outside shooting. But that goes for Jalen, Deuce. I think we're a lot better off ball screens this year, this summer, specifically in open gym. It's open gym. It's not, really organized. But just what guys showed this summer, and it's kind of progressed into the season now. I think coaches kind of saw it too, what we were doing. And they saw a lot of good things, and now they're trying to implement it into the offense. But there's just a lot of guys doing a lot of good things right now. Shooting is probably the biggest thing that I've seen, biggest improvement. A lot of guys just doing what they do now.
Real quick, last thing here. Maybe a guy that's going to surprise people this year. You got one you can throw out to us?
Oh, God, that's going to surprise you. I think Jalen Bridges, him being, obviously redshirt last year. Jalen's put on, probably 10 or 15 pounds of muscle. He's just playing extremely hard. He's rebounding the ball. He's long. He's athletic. He's going to do whatever you ask him to do. So look out for JB.
Okay, any final questions for Sean? Sean, appreciate the time. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, no problem.
Hi, everybody. We'll be joined by Oscar Shibwe in just a few moments. Thanks.
Okay, Joe.
Hey, Oscar, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Good deal. We'll open up the questions for Oscar Shibwe, our final player this afternoon. Go ahead, Greg.
So, Oscar, what did you work on most in the off season? What area did you want to improve on the most?
I work like coach. He told me most of the time I gotta work on my jump shot, 15, 17 footers. I gotta get better on passing the ball, and I gotta be able like to move a feet. I think like I improved those a lot, and my post up, like post move, it got a lot of better.
Keep going, Greg. Greg, you're still muted.
Hey, Oscar, got to ask you about the hair. When did you color it? Do you like it? And have you shown your family? Do they like it?
My hair, like I just tried, like I wanted to look a little bit different, but like um, I don't know. Probably I would take it out after like a week back from South Dakota. I would change back to black.
Jackson, go ahead.
Hey, Oscar, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Hey, last year, you and Derek both talked about the process of learning to play with each other, finding the right space, and being in the right spot. When he was in a certain space, you're supposed to be here, and vice versa, and that kind of thing. So now it's the second year of you guys together. How much different is it playing with him now? And do you foresee any of those problems that kind of lingered last year? Do you see any of that continuing, a year later?
Mm, I see a lot of different, like from last year to this year. I think this year is going to be great. Like one thing the coach has done a great job is to create a space for me and him. So if I'm posting up, so if I see him post up, I cannot go down. I have to stay high low if I'm diving, or I gotta go a little bit short corner. So I think that really helped us, and right now we're getting better, like a lot of better on doing that every single day.
Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, Oscar, how's it going?
Very good, very good.
Great. Hey, really unusual off season for you, and you're a guy who obviously has professional aspirations, and there are some things that you can do in an ordinary off season with the draft and just checking things out. But this was such a weird summer that it was probably really hard to get an idea of what you could do. As best as you can, how did you try to get through that situation?
He was tough. He was tough. Like most of the time, I was just talking to Coach Huggins for help, and I've been just working. There wasn't no much to do than working, getting better. Like uh, like I say, I have to worry first about how we can win the championship this year, then think about something else. That's what is in my mind is to get this championship this year, make everybody happy, then think about something else.
Ethan Bach, you're next.
What's going on, Oscar? How you doing?
I'm doing good, pretty good.
Good to hear. So today I saw that you were on the Karl Malone watch list. How is that like as an honor for you? Is that a humbling experience? How you've improved as a player?
Uh, that's kind of motivation to me, like make me trying to work harder to be the best I can be, to be to help this team the best I can. I know that's just something that's like something to tell you that you have to work harder. Like I'll say something about how my daddy used to say, just because you deserve something, it doesn't mean they're gonna just give it to you. You have to work. You have to go get it. So like this is great motivation for me to work harder, to show what I can do.
Okay, Justin.
Hey, Oscar. Coach Huggins was talking earlier about, might have been like a week or so ago. He was talking about how you've kind of worked on your jump shot and extending your range out, maybe 12, 15 feet. And I kind of think a lot of times, like when you would catch the ball around the foul line last year, teams would kind of sag off of you at that point because they weren't expecting you to take that shot. Are you comfortable in taking that shot now? And if they have to guard you at that spot now, how much does that open up things for what you and Derek are trying to do?
Really helping up things. And I hope they do that again this year. So I showed, I'll show them what I can do, how much better I get this year. That's one thing again last year I struggled with is I had those, but I hesitate a lot to take those shots. So this year I just focus and work harder to have those like 15, 17 footers. He's going to help us a lot because most of the time they just leave him right there. He's not gonna shoot that. So now if somebody they recovers posting up, he got two defenders on him. So like that's harder for us. So this year is going to be great because if they leave me alone, I'm gonna knock them down and I'm gonna make it those because I'll be making after practice 200 shots to make so to get ready for the game, to get ready for everything. So I think it's going to be great. That is going to help us with space because Derek Carr is not going to have a two defender on him. So that means like if one defender came up on me and I just give the ball back like to DC and he's gonna have a one-on-one post up, that's good for us.
Okay, Greg, back to you.
Oscar, making the move from high school to college last year, anything that surprised you, and anything you're better prepared for this time around as a sophomore?
Yeah, but transition from high school to college it was different. When I get to college, I never match up play with somebody like Derrick Harvey. Like I had a login. I was big, but when I practice go against them every single day, I was feeling like I'm little because they were strong and fast. They like do everything great. But from this year, what I learned is take your time, get better, do not rush, finish it strong on the post, and everything will take care of itself. Like
Go ahead, Cody.
Hey, Oscar. With what you and Derek and Gabe did last year rebounding, is out rebounding opponents this season going to be sort of a point of pride for you guys?
yes, I think like this year we're going to do great job than we did last year because like coach wants us every time they shoot the ball, you gotta be in the opposite side because he say 74% of missing shot is going the opposite side. So coach wants us to go on the opposite side to get the ball. Like this year we're going to dominate it on rebound side and everything will be great because we're ready for everything.
Back to Justin.
Hey, Oscar, you were just talking about kind of going through that learning process, your first year here. Obviously, Isaiah's coming in this year, and obviously another big guy who's going to go through that same learning process.
Yeah.
What do you see in him, and how do you think handle this first year in college?
He looked good. He looked good. Like he's doing great in the practice. He just need to get a little bit stronger, but like he's good. He finished great. He shoot the ball really good. He run up and down too, like we do all the time. I think it's going to help this team a lot. It's going to help this team a lot this year, next year. Like he's gonna be different. Like I see him.
Okay, Greg.
So Justin took my question on Isaiah, but I'll turn around to Senny as well. What do you see out of him? So, your young big guys behind you, what do you see out of him?
One thing I would say about Senny is a kid, like he likes to work harder. That's how it matters. Like if somebody likes to work harder, he like to ask a question, he like to learn. That's one thing. And he's a great shot blocker. He go for everything. So he doesn't take a day off. He just trying to get better. I think he's going to help this team too. He has a lot of time to get better, to learn, to be good.
I see you, Justin. Go ahead.
Hey, Oscar, one last one for me. Last year, you guys as a team had to kind of work your way up into the rankings. You weren't preseason ranked and that kind of thing. Obviously, this year it's going to be different. You guys are probably going to be, top 10 or top 15. I'm just kind of wondering what you guys think about that. Does that change anything as far as, not really preparation, but just mindset and the way you kind of go into the season?
I feel like regardless whatever we do, we're going to be ranked because we waited for her. And the one thing I'll say, the rank doesn't really matters. The only thing that matters is the hard worker. You gotta work everybody out. You gotta play harder because when you do good, everybody did good. When you work harder, you're not just gonna be harder. Like you're not just gonna beat everybody. You're going to be hardest to stop. That's one thing about us. We work harder. We trying to be the best we can be. So if we're gonna be unstoppable, the rank is gonna carry itself. It's gonna help us. We're gonna be ranked high.
Okay, Greg, you can take our final question.
Yeah, last thing for me. So what'd you do in the summer when you couldn't, had to be in quarantine? Did you spend time with your brother? What did you do at that point?
I did spend time with my brother for a little bit, and most of the time I was just working out. I was just working out for the most of the time because I knew the things he was missing on my game. So I was just working out. I was working on my defense line. I gotta get my feet quick and move. I was working out on my jump shot. I was working out and my running too. Like I was running on the park, like like you gotta get your body ready for everything.
Okay, Oscar, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
That will conclude our interviews this afternoon. Thanks everybody for joining us. And just a quick reminder that we will continue our preseason Zooms next week. Thank you all.